Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to be throwing my arm through this hole here. He's going to be throwing his arm through this hole, and he's going to be pushing off his back foot. What that'll do, that'll propel him to rolling over his shoulder. And again, this is called Zempo Kaiten, front rolling fall. And he's going to do a good landing position. So go ahead and roll. There you go. All right, let's take a look at Ukemi. Ukemi is often called breakfalls, and actually that's a misnomer, Ukemi. Ukemi means to receive the body. You're receiving the body. In other words, the body is hitting the mat, and the mat is receiving the body. And so that's what's happening in Ukemi. And I got Josh Lehman here, and we're going to be demonstrating some Ukemi and talking about what Ukemi is. Okay, so first of all, it's really important to know that Judo is first and foremost, it's physical education. And every good physical education, every good form of physical education, there has to be some element of safety. And Judo is one of the foremost things ever invented in providing safety for its participants, and that's Ukemi. And it's a system of break falls and receiving the mat, there's the body taking a fall on the mat that has been going on, and it was initially developed by Jigoro Kano himself and developed through the years to where we have it now. And there are a number of different ways to do break falls. We'll call them break falls for clarity here with our English language. But remember, it's Ukemi. It's more than just break falling. It's everything being prepared to receive the mat, everything you need to do. So I'm going to have Josh do some things here and some basic elements of Ukemi. Before we start, think about this, and this is what I tell my new students whenever they start out with me and they learn their break falls, their Ukemi. What's the most important part? Now, here's an analogy. You get into an airplane. You fly up and you're going to somewhere. Okay, what's the most important thing once you get in that airplane? Landing safely. Okay, same here. When you get thrown, when we're practicing, the most important thing for him, if he's my uke, my person receiving the technique, is for him to land safely. And me, it's incumbent upon me as the tori, the person performing the technique, I want to make sure he lands safely too. So it's a two-way street. It's not just on him to do the ukemi, it's also me to help him do it properly by not cheap-shotting him, landing him on in practice, doing dirty stuff. We want to make sure, I always got to remember, it's his turn next to throw me. And I keep that in mind, that'll help me, we'll all do good ukemi. I like doing ukemi because as a warm-up, look at it this way, it just doesn't, it has a practical purpose, yes, everybody, but it also has a practical purpose in the sense that it warms up the body. When you do ukemi before practice, his body is being prepared. He's preparing his body for the hard falls he will be taking in practice that night. Okay? So that's why you want to do ukemi, not just for the sake of learning to take the falls safely, but also preparing your body physically to get ready. And as an uke, as a person receiving the technique, it's really important to know good ukemi, and for me as a tori to know good ukemi, because the better we know how to fall safely, the better our skills in throwing will develop. And if I know that I can throw my partner and he's not going to land on his arm or get hurt or crunched up, he's going to, my throws are going to develop better, and his will too. So that's why learning ukemi is really important. So don't just, land any old way. Another thing that some coaches in past years, and I've talked to a lot of coaches, they say, well, I don't teach my opponent, my students how to lose. I don't want to teach them to lose. But if I teach them how to fall, I'm teaching them how to lose. A football player doesn't learn how to get tackled. Well, no, he gets tackled anyway in practice, but remember, judo just isn't a competitive sport, and even if it is a competitive sport, if we're doing randori, and I throw him and he sticks his arm out to avoid being thrown every time, he may get a pretty serious injury. I've seen these things happen in randori. I've seen them happen in competitions. So judo is first and foremost physical education. This provides us a good basis of safety when we practice. That's the purpose of it. It's especially in randori. Take plenty of falls in randori, you don't get hurt. Okay, so let's look at some basic ukemi here. And we're going to talk about some basic and some drills. So we talked about the importance of landing. Can you lay on your side, Josh, and show us the basic way of landing if I've thrown you? So lay on your left side. Okay, now let's take a look at some things here, okay? Now, when Josh, again, the important thing of landing, when he's in a landing position, let's look. His head is, of course, tucked. You never want to let your head hit the mat. Protect your head at all times. Let's look. When he slaps the mat, okay, his hand is about a hand length from his leg here. Okay, his fingers are closed, thumb in. Don't land like this, lay with your fingers together. His right hand is a bit out of the way, just at the chest, tucked here. His right knee is bent, and his foot's on the mat. His left leg is slightly flexed, or slightly bent, I should say, and it's resting on the mat. Okay, so that's the landing position. That's the basic landing position on the side of the body. Okay, so that's very important. Now, a drill to develop that. Josh, if you can move your feet just a bit. Okay. Now, a drill to do this, and I think it is a good drill for all beginners especially, but it's a good warm-up drill if you want to practice your ukemi before practice, is he's going to go back and forth, and watch when he rocks, his feet will go up in the air, and his hands will, you know, his upper body will slap the mat. So do a few, Josh, and I'll have you stop in a second. So just on the side, and back and forth. See the drill he's doing here? Now, could I have you turn around your head? Just turn around so the camera can see another point of view. Okay, see how he's rolling up on his shoulders? See how he's slapping? This is really an important thing to do. Did you see how he's slapping? What he's doing when he slaps the mat, he's dissipating shock away from the body. No matter if you're slapping with one hand or two hands, what you want to do is just like a belly flop in the water. You want the pressure, you want the waves to go out. Your body doesn't want to take the force of the fall. You want to spread that ballistic energy out away from you, that kinetic energy out away from you. So that's what's happening here. So when he lands, okay. Here's where we practice the landing on the side. Okay, so you're gonna, let's fold this in first. Okay, he's gonna have his right hand here at the chest. Notice his feet out. His left arm is out. And what he's gonna do, he's gonna roll, he's gonna land on his left side. Look how he lands. He always wants to practice good landing posture, position here. His knees up, legs here. Don't let your legs cross or get crunched together. Some people, if they just let their legs hit, I mean, that hurts. You know, you can hurt yourself. So remember, when you land, you want to land, you don't want to land with their legs crossed. Land with this position here. It's really important. You know, again, what's the most important part of getting an airplane? Landing safely. Same here. You just step, put your hands down. Okay, you just step, put your hands down, rolling fall. That's exactly what you want to do. So all the times we do our front rolling falls, that's what you'll be doing. From a normal step, my feet are underneath my hips. Okay, that's the one to start with that. When you step forward, when I step forward, I'm going to step a little longer than I normally step. Okay? And when I lean, I'm going to lean with my right knee into it, where if I look over, I cannot see my toe. So back leg is straight, I cannot see my toes. So that's kind of what he's going to do. So lean his right hand, he's going to put his right hand here in the middle. Fingers pointing toward his back toes. That's his right hand. See that position? With his left hand, he's going to be in this position. Some people will teach, as Josh and I were talking earlier off camera, they'll teach this way. That's good too. If that works for you, do it. But this is the way that I was taught. I teach it to my students this way. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to be throwing my arm through this hole here. He's going to be throwing his arm through this hole, and he's going to be pushing off his back foot. What that'll do, that'll propel him to rolling over his shoulder. And again, it's called Zempo Kaiten, front rolling fall. And he's going to do a good landing position. So go ahead and roll. There you go. There you go. What we're going to work on here is a good drill, a good functional drill. And I like to do this for new students, and you may find this useful too. Just go and be on both keys. All right, so I'm going to get a basic grip on the sleeve. I like to grab up here. You can grab anywhere along here you like. I just like to grab here. All right, I'm going to put my knee on Josh's knee, or my foot on the side of Josh's knee, and I'm going to spin him over, okay? All right, so let's come back a little bit here so the camera is there. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to spin him over, and when I do that, I'm going to hold on, and he's going to do a breakfall. This drill is for him. So I'm going to put my foot here, just like this, and I'm just going to spin, and he did a breakfall. And I do it on the other side. But you can see what we're doing here. This is a real functional way for him to practice Ukemi. Right? And this is what happens in a real throw. Now, he won't be on his knees, he'll be standing up, but this simulates to a great degree an actual feel of being thrown. And that's what we want him to develop, that good kinesthetic awareness, okay? So I put my knee here, my foot here, the heel on the side of his knee, like this, and I'm just going to spin.